you're watching the video, you might be like, it's Jacob's floating head because he's wearing a yellow shirt on a yellow couch. What a wise choice. But actually, I think it's just really cool. It looks like we're going for the whole Tower Records aesthetic here because I'm wearing my Tower Records yellow on a yellow couch. And that means I'm back at Lazy Pickle Studios, which means I've got a guest today. And I was so stoked when I got a chance not only to meet this guest of mine in person when they premiered their documentary, but this is a legendary drummer from the band Failure, Kellii Scott. So today on the show, I get to sit down and talk with Kellii Scott from Failure and a number of other projects that he's worked over in his long career as a very incredible, inspiring drummer for so many others out there. But we're going to sit down with Kellii and talk about what he's doing with Failure right now, maybe the reaction after the documentary and how things have been going there and what's next for Failure. And then we're also, of course, going to go back in time and hear a little bit about little Kellii as a boy growing up and what album did he love the most and what inspired him to play the drums and what is his waterproof record. So we're going to get to it. So let's get to the theme song. So it's time to talk to Kellii Scott from Failure. Let's go.
Things are going to change. I can feel it.
If this going to be that kind of party, I'm going
Waterproof Records. Waterproof Records. Waterproof Records with Jacob Gibbons.
I'm excited. You're excited. We're both excited, but he's not here yet. He's going to be here. Or is he? Is he sitting right next to me and you don't even know? He's just watching me set this whole thing up. He could be. You'll never know. But I'm going to tell you about DistroKid first. You know you got to use distrokid.com/VIP/waterproof. They've been supporting my show for, I don't know, years now, and they're giving you 30% off your first year when you upload your music. So you got to use my link, though. It says VIP in the URL, which means you're a very important person. And this is a very important podcast. That's basically what that means. So distrokid.com/VIP/waterproof. Get 30% off. Use it. I use it. You should use it too, because I know you're working on your full a cappella recreation of the Muppets theme, and you want everybody to hear that. So get it up there immediately. And let's welcome Kellii Scott from Failure.
I went to go see Creed last night.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. We just open with this. This is good. This is good. Save this.
Yeah, I literally was thinking that. I'm like, will I be giving away some of my best material?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't have to give your...
I'm full of material. I mean, how much time do we have?
We have an hour.
That might not be enough.
Okay, might not be enough. Are you moonlighting as a comic? And this is like your Creed?
No, I just... I find it very easy to talk.
Yeah. Oh, same.
I've always, I grew up in the military, so making friends fast became, one of my skill set.
Yeah.
But then, years later, when I came out to LA, meeting people and convincing people that I was good enough to, entertain playing with and possibly making a member of that whole, dating game.
Yeah.
Kind of upped my ability to sort of gab about everything and anything. And it only got worse when I got sober.
Yeah.
Because I started speaking about very vulnerable, very real things in front of large groups of people.
That's the best.
So
you went and saw Creed.
I went and saw Creed. So the drummer from Mammoth.
Okay. Yes.
Wolfgang Van Halen's band.
His father's and uncle's right here.
One of my favorites.
Yes.
I remember having this and 2 on 8-track when I was 11.
I specifically grabbed it because I was like, there's no way that this wasn't a huge influence.
Oh, and this too. I had this on cassette for Christmas when I got my Walkman. I distinctly remember walking. We live kind of rural, not too far from the city in Orlando.
Yeah.
And I remember walking around listening to whoa, what is this guy doing with his hi-hat?
Yeah. Those who are only listening to the show, he has pointed to Van Halen and the Police Synchronicity.
Yeah.
So these are drummer, albums for sure.
Well, for the Van Halen records,
Guitar
I
too.
would purposely tune my snare up and take the snares off.
Really?
So I could get something close to the sound of his snare on those records.
Oh, wow.
Now I actually own the snare drum, the Tama Rosewood.
Okay.
That even though he was a Ludwig endorser, he used the Tama Rosewood on a lot of records.
He did.
Fantastic drum.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So you were saying we got sidetracked.
And
off
I figured
Creed.
out how he did that also. Now, when I want to do something I can't actually do,
Yeah.
I just go back and overdub it.
Yeah.
That's
And
how he
and
did
that's a
all the
Stewart-
cymbals.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But back to Creed.
Back to Creed.
So,
Back to Creed is going to be
I
a
digress.
central point of
I
this
guess.
interview.
I digress. So the drummer for Wolfgang's band
Yeah.
reached out to me on Instagram.
Okay.
And we befriended each other, and we've been like talking, loosely about drum stuff. He's from Florida. I'm from Florida. We should talked about that a little bit.
Okay.
Really, really sweet dude.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're going to be on tour soon. If there are any shows you see, like we're not playing in LA, but there's a couple that are kind of around there. I was like, yeah, I'd love to come out and check it out.
Yeah.
There was a Chula Vista,
Okay.
and then there was a Palm Desert.
Okay.
Originally, we were going to drive to Chula Vista. They're both
Okay.
3 hours.
Yeah. None of those are close.
They're
by.
both 3 hours. We left at 3 o'clock and got there at like 5 to 7.
Yeah, yeah.
They went on at 7.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Barely made it.
Fortunately, I pulled some stuff and got VIP parking.
Nice. Well done. Flex that.
I made it look like I belonged there.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And the guy didn't really ask me any questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I digress again.
Yeah.
So we went to Creed.
Yeah.
We showed up. First of all, when did everyone start singing like it was the 80s again?
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah.
I moved here because of the 80s.
Right.
I fully endorse 80s over the top, like male singing.
Yeah.
I'm into it. That being said, Wolfgang kills.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Kills.
Awesome.
Great guitar player.
Yeah.
We listened to a little bit of the records on the way up.
Uh-huh.
I really loved watching them perform them live.
That's awesome. I haven't spent a lot of time with his music, but I mean, he's from a good pedigree. It's
Yeah.
going to be. He was raised by amazing musicians.
That sometimes can be an impediment.
Yeah, it's true.
Sometimes knowing too much is not the best thing for a musician.
That's very, very true.
We see that happen more times than not.
That's true because they think, well, my dad or my mom or whatever's incredible, I should be too.
Well, and it sets you up and requires you to do a lot of thinking. Mm-hmm. And the best music is made with the least amount of thinking.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. And
in my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Early on, a perfect example of this, early on this show, I had Jack Bates, who's the son of Peter Hook,
Yeah.
Joy Division.
Yeah.
And he said when he was a kid, his dad he said, you can't learn bass from me because I'll teach it to you all wrong. Like basically, he was like, I play
That's how you
such a
wanna
specific
learn.
way. Like he was like,
Yeah.
I can't teach you how I play bass because the way I do it is so specifically me. You need to find bass on your own.
I can only speak for myself, but
Yeah.
I think, or I know, the one thing that I really have going for me as a musician
Yeah.
isn't, my talent or ability. That's just not my thing. I didn't get into music for that in the first place.
Yeah.
I got into music because I needed something to pour all of this stuff that was inside of me that I didn't know how to deal with.
Right.
I didn't have, emotional skills in that way.
Yeah.
And music became a direct outlet, especially the drums. Older brother beating the crap out of me all the time.
Yeah.
I can't beat the crap out of him, so I beat the crap out of
can hit
drums.
some drums, yeah.
Girl in, 5th grade marking no on the love letter that I sent her
Right.
instead
I'm
of
going to go
yes.
home and just
Instead of yes. It's like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you sing some sad song about being lonely on your way home from school, and then you play your drums and you
Work it out.
purge it
Right.
as much as you can. You can't purge all of it.
No.
I would find that out later on through drug addiction.
Right.
That,
Other methods.
I wasn't getting rid of all of it
Right,
and needed to do drugs also.
Yeah, for sure.
That being said, fantastic band. And the singer from Daughtry went on next.
Oh, yeah.
Not familiar with Daughtry. I remember American Idol, and when I was playing on all Linda Perry's records,
Right.
we had a lot of American Idol people come through there.
I can imagine.
That one kid that sings in Queen now, we did a
Yes.
record with him
Yes.
that ruled, and it never came out.
Really?
They did a record that was more like sort of in line with what commercially was selling.
Wow.
The record we did with Linda was like a really cool musical 70s record.
Wow.
Which oddly, years later, he would be the singer of Queen.
Right.
Like it
Right,
was
right.
more in line with what they were doing then.
Yeah.
Like Linda wrote a really great batch of
So I wonder if that's ever going to
Songs.
see the light of day. Who knows?
no idea.
Well, I should say, because we jumped in, and I actually don't know when we were rolling and we were starting on Creed and all that. I do want to just welcome you to the show. Kellii Scott.
Yeah.
So we got to at least do that. Yeah,
I'm smitten to be here. I'm a big fan since the first time. I don't know if it was Tim Dow, who's a mutual friend.
Yes, mutual friend. Great guy.
He
Great drummer.
sent me the Stuck on You video that you made.
Okay. So there were a couple, because I covered it early on. I covered the reaction where it was just where I'm talking to myself two sides with the subtitles.
That's the one he sent
That's the
me.
one. Okay. Because I also later people would go when I do this series 90s Treasures, which is like things that are forgotten.
Yeah.
And not that it's forgotten, but I was gonna say
it's forgotten.
I was gonna say
if we weren't back together, like
right. But
everyone would have forgotten.
People kept saying, when are you going to cover failure on this series? And I would answer in the comments. I'd be like, well, I did a reaction, but fine. So I brought it in that as well. And so I was hoping that you saw the reaction.
Oh, and I thumbed it up.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing you like maybe a couple months later at that show at the Wiltern.
Did we see each other and I didn't even realize it?
I don't know if you saw me. I saw you.
Okay.
And I kind of like didn't want to be the one to go up to you.
That's incredible.
Or,
So
the
I wonder
whole
who
backstage thing is weird in the first place.
It is.
The Wiltern is even weirder.
Was it?
Because they throw all these people in a room and there's no band members. There's no... It's bizarre. It was the Sunny Day Real Estate
Sunny
show.
Day Real Estate.
Yeah.
So that's the funny thing is Tim Casher from Cursive was there too, and he also was like, "Yeah, I saw you at the whatever," and and he didn't say hi.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Will you guys come say hi?"
I don't know who he is, but one of the people I was with pointed out that he was also there.
Yeah. So it's just it's awesome that we were all at that show.
And back to other mutual friends. So
Waterproof Records.
we were going to go to Chula Vista, and then we decided on going to see them in Palm Desert
Okay.
because they weren't playing in LA proper.
Yeah.
And the reason we decided that is because Ben Kohler, another mutual friend,
Yes.
great friend of mine,
And
Shout out.
We think we can shout it out.
maybe
I don't know.
Liquid
Death.
fill in the blank.
Ben has been my source for Liquid Death, so we're gonna shout out where shout out is due. He'll have to correct us otherwise.
It's so good. I
Yeah.
prefer the sparkling, but
Oh, sorry.
the real water will do all
Blame
the time.
Ben. I need sparkling Ben.
I picked up a sparkling addiction during the plague.
I actually am very addicted to all things sparkling water.
Yeah, I just can't stop.
Yeah.
I tell myself I'm going to.
But you
And we have perfectly good filtered tap water.
Yeah.
I bought like a nice under the counter filter
Yeah.
for it, and
Yeah.
I'll do that for 2 days and then
Yeah.
break down and buy sparkling water.
But I think
And it's absurd because they're like $3 a bottle.
Right, but I think sober living allows you to be obsessed over things like that. You know what I mean? You're like, look, I get to have this thing. I get to have this thing.
But if you're doing it right
Yeah.
and you recognize like any of those sort of like obsessions,
Yeah.
you're supposed to deal with them on a daily basis. Like, how is this comforting me?
Right.
Is it really comforting? Like, I don't smoke anymore. I vaped for years
Right.
to stop smoking. Like, I'd been smoking Pall Mall non-filters like since I was 12.
Wow.
And I stopped when I was probably around 42, 45.
Okay. So that's a long run.
Because someone said that it would affect my looks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, and then someone at the same time gave me an e-cigarette.
Oh.
And I did that for a while and then
Yeah.
started to feel like it made me look really stupid.
Yeah.
It was in every picture I ever took. Like took it
Yeah.
everywhere, would leave
Yeah.
the movie theater to go
Yeah.
take a hit in the bathroom. Like
Yeah.
it was an obsession for sure. So anyway, we wind up going to the desert because Ben
I love this.
has, during the plague, he bought a little place out that way.
Right.
And he's like, let's all go and we'll check out the show. And instead of driving back, we'll stay at my place.
Amazing.
We'll get up early, have some food, and
how
then
you
drive
do it.
back.
That's how you
So
do
that
it.
was the plan. And then Ben had to change his plans. I think his family, they're like going on vacation or doing something
Yeah.
that he had to bow out.
Yeah.
So it was just my friend Gabe and I. Do you know Gabe?
I don't know.
Gabe is an engineer guy. I first met him. He was Ken from Failure's assistant
Oh, okay.
for his recordings.
Okay, okay.
His producing.
Okay. Got it.
That's how I first met Gabe. And then he worked for the band for the first couple of years. And then he set up a studio, and I gave him a drum set. And years later, when the plague hit and I was diagnosed with cancer,
Right.
I had to figure out a way to do what I love to do
Right.
and stay away from people.
Yeah.
So I basically called in a favor for him and started doing these online remote sessions.
Right.
Where I get to basically do sessions for all of the people coming up.
Right.
Like people who would never have access to a studio and a drummer that's played on a lot of records. Not to toot my own horn, but a professional drummer.
He has played on a lot of records.
I've been paid more than $1, so that makes me a professional, whether I am or not.
Yeah.
Professional in that I always show up on time and I'm prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can choose that moniker.
Yeah.
Beyond that, that's for other people to decide.
Yeah. But all you drummers know each other. That's the thing I'm beginning to gather. Is
I
that
don't.
All of you,
I don't,
because
though.
like all the drummers I meet in town too. You
I
just listed off Tim, Ben.
I know Tim because of his affiliation
You're
to
the
Ken,
Rabbit. Yeah.
and You're the Rabbit.
Yeah.
And also I was a Shiner fan.
Yeah.
I met Tim like early on, back in the 90s.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But I generally don't... I still have a thing about being a drum... Because, again, my approach to drums is... I don't know very much. I mean, I know a lot now because I've been doing it for so long.
Right.
And people have told me stuff
Right.
that I've retained. But generally, my approach is more holistic and slightly philosophical.
Okay.
Like the playing music fills a void in my life and allows me to do things
Yeah.
like giving back and showing that I'm grateful for my life. That I find those things way more important than probably the reasons that I got into it in the first place.
Sure.
I mean, I wanted to seek revenge on everyone that put me down as a child or
Sure.
made me feel less than.
Yeah.
Which, nobody really meant that. Weird.
Right. But that feeling has been with me.
I'm going to show everyone how important I am, or it's just going to fill the hole inside of me
Right.
that I don't have the skills to fill
Yeah.
with anything other than something from the outside.
Right.
I picked it for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But all of those reasons are what made me so good at it.
Yeah.
That's how I found my voice instead of just learning to do something.
Yeah.
Anyone can learn to play the drums. There are tons of books. There are like far better players than me that you can study under. I play like me, and that's my advantage.
That's it.
Nobody plays like me but me. And it's something that every time I pick up a drumstick, I can like directly attach to that thing.
Sure.
Like they're all this. It's my instrument.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's go back to kind of the origins of everything. One of the central points of my show, Waterproof Records, is I always ask my guests, because so much for what my videos do for people is they resonate to a time in the past, and I seem to communicate this feeling of being young, watching MTV, seeing a video, hearing a band for the first time. So no matter what generation my guest is, I'm like, what was that moment? And it's earned the phrase the waterproof record. It's this thing that it's usually 12 or 13. It can be give or take a year or two, but it always seems to line up with, up until a certain point, you're listening to what your parents played in the house, or you're listening to what's on the radio, and then somehow something lands in front of you. You get your hands on it. An older sibling, a cousin gives it to you. You play it, and you're like, I didn't know this was possible. I didn't know this could happen in music.
Right.
And so would you say the first one you told me is the one that is that thing?
So there's a little.
You listed
there's
a
a little
couple.
bit of lead up. There's a little bit of lead up.
I want the lead up. We're here for the lead
in
up.
my house, my dad was in the military. He was on nuclear subs.
And this is in Florida specifically. No. Okay.
No. I was born in San Diego.
Okay.
Then moved to Massachusetts. Then we moved to Baltimore. We moved to Groton, Connecticut. We moved to South Carolina.
Military
and then
kid.
we moved to Orlando.
Military kid.
Like I said, my dad was on nuclear subs, so we moved every 3 years.
All over the place.
And he would get on a submarine and go off and patrol either the north or the south of Russia because it was the Cold War. He was on a nuclear sub. Like if the shit went down, he would be part of the first response.
That's got to make you feel good in your day job.
He was stationed in Scotland. He was north of Russia. He was
right.
stationed in Morocco. He was in the south of Russia.
Wow.
And he did that like most of me, like my growing up formal years.
So you had to move.
So my older brother stepped in, and one was this guy who beat me up all the time. Mm-hmm. And two was like, to me, the coolest dude in the world. Like he taught me everything, sports, like everything.
Okay.
And he also gave me my first music that he had outgrown, which was Kiss.
Okay. And this is it.
So
Kiss.
at 8 years old.
At 8, so a little younger.
A lot younger.
Yeah.
But drums hadn't come into the picture yet.
And that's
at
an
8
important
years
point.
old, I would run home every day, and this fantasy world that I lived in that would make everything that I had experienced that day and emotionally had no tools to deal with in any way at all, whether it be the abandonment of my father or my brother beating me up or whatever it was.
Right.
Kids go through a multitude of things from moment to moment every single day.
Yeah.
Their entire lives.
Right.
They become adults, and that never changes.
Right.
You're still going through stuff. Some you can negotiate, some you can't.
Right.
Depends on what tools your parents gave you.
Exactly.
Large in part. Some you can learn later from other people, but mostly it's your parents' tools and the things you make up.
Right.
To sort of negotiate and navigate your way through things.
Exactly.
I had a bad set of tools, so I eventually became a drug addict.
Yeah.
I digress. 8 years old, I would come home every day and I would like full on family tennis rackets, jamming to Kiss Alive 2.
Yeah.
Spitting up red Kool-Aid for blood.
Yeah. Try to be Gene.
Or God forbid, you remember, I don't know if you remember back then, you could go to the dentist and there were these little red pills that you would chew, and they would show the plaque and how well you brushed your teeth.
I don't think I remember that until you just said something, but they were still
They
around.
gave them to all the little kids when they were at that age when are
were
they
still
learning
doing
to
that
brush
in
their
the 80s,
teeth?
yeah.
Are they still lying about brushing their teeth? Like,
Yeah.
and it was for the parents also.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they could check.
I do remember that.
Because kids could just eat toothpaste and go, see,
Fine, I
you
brushed my
smell.
teeth. Right.
You know, and they wouldn't know.
Right.
So those I especially fucking love.
Yeah.
Because they looked like real blood. But they would stain you. And I would go to school with like these crazy like cranberry stains on my chin and down my neck.
Wow.
And I loved Kiss so much, I never had a problem like, Kiss, man!
Kiss Army!
I was rocking out! Like, I was a really strange kid.
Yeah. Most artists are.
The same, though, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I've just learned how to direct it more to make it seem like an asset and less weird.
That's how we get through
homicidal.
It all. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You got to direct it somewhere.
Yeah.
Make it work for you.
Yeah.
So
it started with that. Building, this illusion around me and really just kind of ducking into it every day.
Right.
Every day like clockwork.
Yeah.
And I broke all the tennis rackets.
Yeah.
Over the course of probably like 6 or 8 months, because you smash your guitar at the end of the show, just like Kiss Alive 2.
Yeah.
And then I moved on to hockey sticks.
Okay.
Because we were primarily in the East Coast, and myself, my brother, like we played hockey. We were on the ice all the time.
Yeah.
I broke my stick. And then one day I was jamming, and my brother and I, who still shared a room, walked in, and he saw me jamming with his stick. And knew what I was going to do.
You break a stick.
And, he took it from me and just had it out with me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, like, he abused me and I got a beating for it.
Yeah.
But he set me straight.
Yeah.
Like, I literally was going to break his hockey stick.
Yeah.
Like, there was no fooling anyone.
Yeah.
So, as a result of that, I moved to Lincoln Logs. I was really big. You remember Lincoln Logs?
Yeah, of course.
Lincoln Logs?
Of course.
To build the log cabins.
Yeah.
They came in like 3s or 2s
So
or
now
1s.
we've gone from racket to large sporting equipment. Now we're down to little
Lincoln Logs to play on pots and pans.
Oh, so we've moved from the guitar to the
And
drums.
that is how, like, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley were by far the coolest dudes in that band.
Yeah.
Like, those are the people that I really, especially Gene Simmons with the blood. And I would get my mom's Aquanet.
Yeah.
And I would put it, like, behind my head, and the mirror's, like, right here. And I would grab her lighter, because my whole house smoked cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I would
make
it look like I was blowing flames.
That's amazing.
Burn down the house much?
Yeah. So you didn't list Peter Criss in this, so that he was not the cat face.
I quite literally became a drummer by default.
By default. Okay. Because I was going to say, you listed all three, not the drummer.
I didn't have access to the other instruments anymore.
Right.
Moved to, I just wanted to jam along and be at the show.
Yeah.
Be a part of the show.
Yeah. So Kiss Destroyer specifically is
Yeah.
one of
Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over. Later on, my cool aunt and uncle hipped me on to Kiss Alive.
Kiss Alive.
And then I went back and got the first 3 records.
Yeah.
But I started with Kiss Alive 2, Rock and Roll Over, Destroyer.
Yeah.
And there's one other one. Usually their live records will cover 3 records.
Yeah.
Love Gun. Love Gun.
Got it.
Shock Me and Love Gun are on Kiss Alive too.
Yeah, Kiss is one of those things that of a certain age and a certain time when kids were growing up, not only was it rock, but especially Destroyer, there are things about it. It's like a comic book, right? These are like superheroes. These are like
literally, I had the comic book.
Yeah, they're characters.
Yeah.
It's like not just rock. It has so much more to it. The theatrical
It's
nature.
a movement.
Yeah. And so that I can imagine that being something that you just go like, it's not just music, it's a whole way of life. This is a world, a universe.
Yes. And when you open the albums, like the centerfold is like the lights are on, it's a fully sold out arena.
Yeah.
And you can see they're like tens of thousands. I mean, back then it seemed like a million.
Yeah.
I'd never seen that many people in one place before.
Sure.
And an instant like, oh, like, I have to do this.
Yeah, I want to do this.
If I do this and all of these people are showing up, like, I'm the best.
Yeah. Do you have a song that you could say of all those albums from Kiss, specifically, this song, when I heard it on the 8-track, when I heard it playing in the speakers and it opened up, I was like, that right there. I want to do that.
I mean, fuck, dude, all of them. Like Making Love, Detroit Rock City. Like that original, you remember how that record starts? It's the dude gets in his car on the radio and then there's the crash.
There's a crash, exactly. What did you think of that?
Comes on.
What did you think of that?
Because, shit!
Because a lot of people who don't know that, you know, apparently the story is Paul Stanley hears this story about a fan who's a Kiss fan who's on his way. It's in North Carolina and he's driving to a Kiss show and he dies in a car accident. And so he's inspired. He's like, what a weird thing to have this like amazing Detroit Rock City, but I'm also showing the last thing you do is like I'm trying to get to a thing. What was your experience being a kid and hearing that?
First of all, I don't know if I believe that story.
Yeah, okay.
You know, like I know being in bands, like it's pretty easy and sometimes required to make up a story in retrospect to sort of like fill in the blanks. Right.
You did this creative thing and everybody's like, "Was that real?" And you're like,
"Well,
sure."
Fantastic Planet is a space record.
Right.
No, that's not what we made. We were watching the Discovery Channel and came up with another space song.
Right.
But the original record did not have that Ace comic cover that we redid so we wouldn't get sued by Scientology. Because L. Ron Hubbard did all those Ace comics.
And so
we couldn't track down the people that did all the artwork.
Right.
So when we got signed to Warner, we had their people in-house add a couple more rockets and have the spaceman pointing this way instead of that way, and added a spaceman, like just enough that it was no longer the property of somebody else.
Right. But people have assigned the identity.
In retrospect, they think we're a space rock band. The first album cover, and you can look this up afterwards.
Okay.
Like Greg was proposing, and we did have the Fantastic Planet poster hanging inside of the studio.
That's in the documentary.
The record was called Fantastic Planet.
Right.
But the album cover was less spacey. It was a what's his name? That insane artist from like the 1700s. He does all those like really graphic Garden of Eden things.
It'll come to us when we least expect it.
Anyway, it was a really dark one of his paintings.
Okay.
And it was basically this guy as I remember, a guy on a battlefield being held down by a nun with a priest over him with this like shoehorn looking thing in his head, prying out a small boulder. And they used to think back then that was the root of insanity.
Really?
Like insane people had a rock in their head.
And they had to pry it out.
Yes.
Is this image available anywhere where we can see the original cover?
Yes, it's Bosch. It's a Bosch painting.
Okay, Bosch.
You know his stuff. It's super crazy and dark and hellscape. And
yes.
So that was the original cover. Wow. And we had a bunch of friends up. Like we went up there, wrote and recorded the record. No one, every now and again someone would come up, but no one came up. No record company, no management, no friends, no nothing.
Right.
We did this ourselves. And at a certain point, when we were near a finishing point, I think it was pre-mixing, some friends came up.
Yeah.
And one of those friends was this kid, Len. They did all the early Tool videos. They were the art directors and the ones who actually did the stop motion stuff.
Yeah.
Like they were serious background art people.
Got it.
And Adam knew them really well. They were all friends.
Right.
Len and Kevin Willis.
Okay.
And we kind of borrowed them from the Tool Camp. We were really
Nice.
good friends because we were doing all that touring with them back then.
That's right.
And Len looked at the cover that we were going to use, and he was like, "You're out of your mind. No, that's stupid."
Yeah.
Like, I remember him like just being like, "No, you're crazy. That's like the worst thing I've ever heard."
And those are the friends you
Like
need
the
in your life.
music and that thing, like they have
do
nothing.
not match together. It
and the
needs
title,
something-
they have nothing in common.
Right.
Everybody left, and like 3 days to a week later, we get a package at the door. This is at Lita Ford's house that we were renting.
That's right.
Her and her heavy metal husband, who, if you look in the back of all the metal mags back then, he was like,
Yeah.
he was giving singing lessons. His something Gillette. He sang for Nitro.
Okay.
That dude that had the multi-neck guitar.
Yes,
That crazy
yes,
guitar
yes,
player.
yeah.
Hollywood guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were renting her place because it was damaged during an earthquake and it started falling off the foundation and they couldn't just sell it. But they were building their dream home up in Oregon.
Okay. And so they were just renting it out.
Yeah. They needed someone to pay the mortgage.
Right.
Before us, the band Medicine was in there.
Okay.
And we were really good friends with Brad and
Yes,
Justin. Meldell
yes,
Johnson
yes, yes.
was in the band then.
Wow.
And they're the ones that told us, hey, we've been like mixing a record at this house, and I'll bet you guys can rent it to move in and record your record. Because they knew
Amazing.
we were trying to find a place where we could like
Sure.
live and write.
Yeah.
So anyway, this package shows up 3 days to a week later, and we open it up, and it literally is a fucking jewel case with the Ace comic, the original
Really?
Ace comic,
Okay.
as the cover of the jewel case.
Okay.
And instantly we're like, oh fuck,
That's it.
that's it.
That's the
That is
cover.
it. So that was the cover.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the record was never going to come out because Slash went under.
Right.
Eventually, when Warner Brothers picked it up 18 months later,
Right.
or like a year later, 18 months
96.
later that it came out,
Yeah.
we had them re-render the cover because there was no way of finding out who the original artist was.
Wow.
And Scientology owned all the content for all of his previous, like from the
Right.
50s to the 60s, he did hundreds of Ace comics,
So,
sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was going to ask you. I think it's cool that you brought. I love that we got here because the stories have led us
Band
here.
stuff.
The idea of space rock being assigned that and being a space rock album. I wondered how you and the guys received that because I was even wondering, what makes something space rock versus psychedelic, and to me, what space rock means is that there's a sense of atmosphere that's a little unknown, right? So something about psychedelic to me is it's set in our reality. It's grounded.
Yeah.
It's something like of this earth. It's like you're feeling kind of a spacey, disoriented feeling. But when you even say the term space rock, it's as though the thing about space is this abyss, right? And it's just it's sparse. There's atmosphere. It's a little scary.
Yeah.
So it's unsettling.
Yeah.
Dark. And so
it's unknown.
Yes.
In the unknown aspect,
Yeah.
I agree with space rock because in 1996,
Yeah.
very few people knew anything about. That's why the documentary is so eye-opening.
Right.
No one has ever heard Greg speak that much.
Right.
Ever.
I know.
We didn't do interviews. We didn't do
No.
there wasn't this known. There's hardly any footage, even on YouTube.
Right.
Nothing is known about the band. So it was kind of like free reign for people to assign whatever they wanted to.
Yeah. It's
And
true.
space is very dark and very unknown.
Yes.
So in that way, I can agree with the term. But beyond that, anything you do is like that. We in the band want to make a great record that
that's
is self-satisfying.
Yes.
We've never sold any records, so we've never had any impetus to do anything else.
Yeah.
Except if we're going to be broke, at the very least, we have to be able to walk away from this with our heads held high.
You have to say, I love
That's
it.
all we get from it.
And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So once it goes in the world, just like a song,
Right.
there are 30 different meanings to Stuck on You.
Right.
I thought it was about drugs because we were all, especially Greg, going through a lot of drug stuff.
Right.
It possibly is.
Yeah.
But I now know that it's also about a hit song getting stuck in your head that you can't shake.
Yeah.
That's quite literally, the song is probably a little bit about drugs framed up as a hit song, which is genius.
Yeah.
That anyone would write a hit song about a hit song getting stuck in your head.
Right,
Instead of love or what all the other hit songs.
Right.
No one's ever done that.
Yeah.
I will say this is the only song ever written about a hit song that you can't get out of your head.
Yeah.
It's not a girl.
Yeah.
but it's caged like it's about a girl, which is what almost
is.
all hit songs are about.
Yeah, that song does have...
It's bizarre how he did that.
It is bizarre because it's one of those songs that people will say, it's about this. No, it's about this. No, it's about this. And for me, as we talked about before, I made the video on Psych on You because that's my entry point with failure.
Right.
And
most people,
right?
Tool
Because,
or MTV.
Yeah, Tool. And
maybe
and
the radio late night.
That's what I was going to say is that a lot of people discover failure because another band decided to cover your song and then they find out
later.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
This isn't a Tool song
Yeah.
or this isn't a Perfect Circle song or this isn't a Deftones song or whatever. It's just literally they come back and they find out later that it's a cover.
Well, that Perfect Circle song, all of the strings were written by one of my best friends.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know. Like
crazy.
when I started working for Linda Perry,
Yeah.
I walk in one day and she has these two Australian clients, twins, and one of them looks at me and he's like, "Holy shit, you're Kellii Scott." Which, I mean, I don't ever expect that I'm going to walk into a room and that's anyone's response.
Sure.
Like 11 times out of 10, when
I
you
would,
ask
Kellii.
someone about failure,
I would.
they're like, "What?" I guess they weren't a success, or some smart ass thing.
Yeah.
Never like, "Oh, I know that band, I love them,"
Right.
or even just I know who they are.
Yeah.
Anyway, this kid says that, and then Linda looks at me like, "What?
Right.
You were in failure?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I got to play you something." So she takes me in the other room, sits me down in her seat
Yeah.
in the studio, turns down all the lights, turns up the section quartet playing "The Nurse Who Loved Me,"
Wow.
a cover that they're doing for their record. They did like a Queen song and a Muse song. They're called literally the section quartet.
Okay.
And sometimes they play like OK Computer or Radiohead records from top to bottom.
Right. Okay.
In live
I think I'm
concerts.
familiar with this.
You're probably familiar with that.
Yes.
They were doing that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Then they did this Fuzz Box. It was a cover record of a bunch of like contemporary songs that they did because they're all like rock fans.
Yeah.
Like Eric and I, one of the main people in the group, he and I like bond on like our love of Iron Maiden and Kiss. Like we both grew up on those two things, but I became a drummer, which seems very rational. Mm-hmm. And you can see the through line. And he's this crazy like fucking string guy writing like 72-part strings for the Tools version, which I would later find out that all of these things, he and I are already connected, even though we haven't met one another yet.
That's amazing. Full circle.
So back to
where are we now? I don't even know.
I'm probably about 9 years old now. I'm playing Lincoln Logs.
I love that we're back there.
Yes, I'm playing Lincoln Logs.
Ago.
I've broken all the Lincoln Logs, so I can no longer build any more like Lincoln cabins.
Right.
Which is what they were for. Lincoln Logs were to build Lincoln-style log cabins.
Yes.
And they came in this like tube, which itself was a drum.
It was.
It had a metal top and a metal bottom.
Yeah.
But then pots and pans. So I broke them all, and somehow I can't remember exactly how, which is weird because you'd think I would. I got a pair of drumsticks and started using those on pots and pans.
Yeah.
But in there somewhere, by default, winding up banging on things, not a drummer, something already started to, I think, like attach itself to me somewhere on the inside, beyond whatever I was thinking or imagining or experiencing.
Right.
It started to become a part of me.
Okay.
And I was already like working things out in normal life through being able to bang on things with aggression.
Right.
And then, it was also around the time of like hip hop, breakdancing. Like I had parachute pants and a fucking piece of cardboard that I'd put in my locker every day.
Yeah.
And those kids were like also beating on their desks.
Yeah. So this is the early 1980s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started beating on my desks.
Yeah.
I like wanted to fit in.
Yeah.
A lot of this is about wanting to fit in.
Yeah.
Like, where am I going to find my niche that makes me different and unique, which I know is important, but also, like, I can fit in and not be an outsider. Like, I was also president of Future Farmers of America at this time.
I'm familiar. I grew up in Oklahoma.
I'm listening to tons of metal.
Yeah.
I'm out judging cattle and doing parliamentary procedure were, like, my two main things in FFA.
Yeah.
Just a lot of stuff. I was skating and a jock and desperately trying to seek, like, a group that I could belong to who would give me my just deserved elevation within that group.
Yeah.
All the other groups, I was just a part of them. Yeah. I needed to be elevated.
Yeah.
Like something was inside of me needed to like get extra attention and extra praise.
Same. We are cut from the same
I
cloth.
didn't choose music. I inevitably started playing music to fill a hole.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, I was like, oh, this is a bad career choice. I'm never going to make any money doing this. But do I love this? Is there any way I can live without doing this?
Right.
And the answer was like, no, full stop.
Yeah.
And I continued to do it. Like the first 18 years of my career, I didn't fucking make anything.
Right.
You know, failure, we didn't make money, but we were given like a little stipend that we could pay our rent, you know, and go out to the bars and like, you know, no one was paying a mortgage or going to eat at fancy places.
Right.
We were getting by like everyone else who just had a normal job.
Had a restaurant job or whatever.
A normal
just like
job.
The basic stuff. Yeah.
So, you know, I really got into that. I really buried myself. I stopped doing all of the other stuff because I, at the very least, like knew I was unique. Like there were no other people like crazy and as good at it, just simply because I put so many hours into it.
Sure.
Not because I was special by any means.
Right.
I just
But you had the
didn't
drive.
do anything else.
You had the drive. You had the focus.
I don't know if that's what it was. I knew that this thing was going to save my life.
Okay.
I don't necessarily see that I was making choices. Because when I look at all of my other choices until I got sober, they were all bad and out of fear, and they just weren't like well-informed choices. But it became a part of me. I became what I do.
Right.
You know, and that was part of my downfall also. Like I couldn't separate myself from what I do. But, you know, I moved to LA like a week out of high school.
Yeah.
I started playing a drum set when I was 12. My parents were like, cool. If you stick with this, we'll put you in band. If you stick with it, we'll get you a drum set for Christmas.
Okay.
So I joined band. Fucking hated the teacher.
Yeah.
Mr. Ensfelder. Probably a nice enough guy. Suit and tie. Handed me a set of bells and a rubber pad and big drumsticks. And told me I needed to like hold them like weird, traditional.
Right.
I, like literally, we started out with me holding it the opposite way.
Yeah.
With the stick and traditional in my right hand instead of my left hand. Like I was just bumping up against this guy the whole way. I wanted to be a rock drummer. He was like, that's a waste of your life.
Right.
Rock and roll is not even music. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when he said that, it was like, I got to get out of this class.
Yeah.
Always causing a disturbance. And finally, I wound up pissing in a tuba. And it got blown all over some people.
That'll
and
do
he
it.
instantly knew that it was me.
Yeah.
Ironically, they put me, I wanted another elective.
Yeah.
Something like art or something. They put me in cop shop. Cop shop was taught by the school deputy
Yeah.
for at-risk children.
Okay.
You know, kids who had like weird home bringings or
Yeah.
drugs or
Right.
a criminal record.
Right.
To kind of try and steer them away from the
trouble.
road they're on.
Right.
So I wound up like getting stuck in that, which
Yeah.
was just totally insane.
Which probably gets you exposed to other trouble kids that along the way. Right?
Well,
like the people that you're in class
Let's
with.
just say when I moved to LA to be a rock star, I kind of worked at a car wash for a minute, down the Sherman Oaks car wash. Hated it.
Yeah.
Then I worked at a pizza place for a little while, and that kind of intersected with me meeting one of the biggest drug dealers in the valley.
Well, there you go.
So I was delivering pizza and drugs,
And that's where it all
like
started.
mass quantities, like
Yeah.
keys
Yeah.
in
Oh,
my
boy.
trunk while listening to Megadeth.
Oh, boy.
A muffler dragging and sparking on the ground, spewing 100 pounds of smoke everywhere. A door that when I opened it would fall on the ground. A smashed windshield. Did I say Megadeth on 11?
Oh, yeah. Gotta
And
have
a
Megadeth
clutch.
on 11. Yeah.
When I came to stoplights, I'd have to turn the car off, pry it out of whatever gear it was in, hold it to first, and kick it with my foot.
Yeah.
And then chug when I turned the car back on until
Yeah.
it caught into gear and I rode smoothly, but grind it in every other gear. Not because I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Like I was making a lot of money
Yeah.
in the drug trade.
Yeah.
I just wasn't doing anything with it other than like going to the Rainbow
Yeah.
and meeting people.
Were you playing
and buying sweaters?
P-cells? Were you playing
was-
P-cells? Or was it
no, it was P-cells.
P-cells.
It was P-cells.
I was going to say
Yeah.
timeline. I feel like we're at P-cells and not Rust in Peace.
I moved here in 87.
Okay. That's right around
Yeah.
then. All right. So
So that kind of catches me up.
Yes, kind of catches you up. And then
But it was definitely Kiss.
definitely Kiss. And then
Although Kiss records were not the first records that I was physically playing drums to.
okay.
That was AC/DC, Highway to Hell.
Okay. So
My
that's-
brother, another reason I played drums was, I wanted my brother to think I was fucking cool.
Yeah, did your brother play
So
an
he would
instrument?
invite me to hang out with him and his friends and show
Yeah.
me off and
Did he play anything?
Nope.
Nope.
Nobody in my everyone
You're the only
had
one.
their music that they listened to religiously.
Okay.
Like growing up, because we were on submarines, we were always on the water.
Right.
And they had these rooms called hurricane rooms.
Okay.
And that's where the family stereo was.
Nice.
And everyone would go in there and listen to their music.
Right.
My sister had her depressing, Black Sabbath, and she really got into Stevie Nicks for a while. She was actually quite a good singer. But she liked the more 70s,
Yeah.
druggy, depressed.
Yes, down.
Poor me.
Turn off all the lights.
Yeah.
Brood in the corner.
My older brother, he was pot smoking, Foghat, ZZ Top.
okay.
A lot of cool rock. Led Zeppelin, Boston.
Yeah.
My dad loved everything Motown.
Nice.
But he also loved the last Led Zeppelin record.
Yeah.
Which I think is their best record. The one that Jimmy Page was checked out for, Into the
right.
Outdoor.
That's right.
And
That's
John
right.
Paul Jones basically produced it.
Yeah.
Everyone played their best playing. There's no bullshit in there. Every note mattered. We could do a podcast just about that.
Just
record.
on that. Okay, all noted.
But he
I'll
also
remember that.
he listened to Beatles and Motown and really laid a foundation for this is what great music is.
Right.
And Pink
You had-
Floyd.
You had a lot of then your family was
Yes.
really a musical family.
My
Even
dad
though
would
you-
endlessly make fucking mixtapes because he was in the military. When he would go out on the boat,
Right.
he would listen to music nonstop. First, it was reel to reel, and then it was cassettes. Every time we all got in the car,
he had a mix.
cassette went in, just a mix.
Wow,
Everything from
that's
Elton
huge.
John to Pink Floyd to
Yeah.
all the Motown. He had extremely great taste in music.
Yeah. So we've got Kiss, then we've got AC/DC, and then you also mentioned Rush. So these,
AC/DC, Highway to Hell taught me to play the drums. The basics.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then my brother gave me All the World's a Stage, which blew my fucking
There
mind.
isn't a drummer I will ever have on this podcast ever that will not reference Rush, because I think Neil Peart is probably the biggest drum. Wouldn't you say? You don't.
Yes.
You don't meet a drummer who doesn't have.
But there's
respect for
one
him.
caveat.
Okay.
You should not give a young drummer, you shouldn't put that record in his hands with no context or direction.
Okay.
I have been subsequently trying to unlearn some of the stuff that I learned from
having
I
it
am
too soon.
over musical. I will sit there and waste hours playing everything that shouldn't be played.
Yeah.
To get all the way back down to what you finally hear on a failure record.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Being introduced.
I go
to
the
something too
long
soon.
way around. Because sometimes in doing that whole, it's not a waste of time deducing what the right and final part is. I come up with something that I would have never thought of that completely takes me in a different direction entirely.
Okay.
And when that happens, I usually stick to that becomes the basic format.
Yeah.
Sometimes Ken and Greg come up with great drum tracks. Like that one, it's on In the Future, the record. The one, it's
Oh,
like a
wow.
crazy ass drum beat.
Yeah.
Ken literally sent in the demo with almost all of that finished.
Wow. Just programming?
Yes. And it took me probably 3 weeks when we were finally, after we recorded these records, or that one especially, when I was learning it and we were going to go into the studio and record those demos, because we did that record 4 demos at a time. Okay. Normally we do the entire record and release it.
Right.
That was a little different. I called Dave Elich, who I know he's a great friend and he can clearly play anything. But I reached out to him and I was like, Ken sent in this thing that couldn't be played by a human. Which a lot of Magnified was like that. When I joined the band, the hurdle that I had to get over was well, how do you play all of this drum machine stuff? Which clearly, you would need 3 arms to play some of this stuff.
You're not factoring in
because your hands are
human player.
doing something, and then there's a third hand doing something.
Right.
And his programming had an element of that. that I was able to bring down to the drum set and play, like I would play the hand part with my right hand and then throw in that third hand thing without interrupting the impetus of what.
Right.
Because what he programmed was genius.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, like, I could have been like, oh, I can't play this and come up with something way simpler. The last thing you want to do is like come up with something that's going to be difficult for you to play every single night.
Right.
You know, but we're really not known for taking that other road.
Right.
Like we literally, as a band, we just got on Click Track.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
like on the last tour.
Yeah.
Up until then, like I was looking at a fucking light telling me the exact tempo of the song we were playing.
Yeah.
So when it came to me playing samples that are in real time that have to be matched with the actual tempo of the song.
Right.
Like we were doing that in an analog way.
Yeah.
Like we weren't.
That's the fascinating thing is now
it was a lot of work.
The kids
like with me
up,
sampling stuff with my feet and both hands. Like
the
it was
kids growing up now. They only know being on you know what I mean. You go see a young band now. But
it wasn't that long ago. We could have simply started out because we got rid of the amplifiers and we were using fractals for all of our sounds.
Yeah.
But something in there was just like, yeah, well, we can't do that also.
Yeah.
And the main reason that we finally got on time code, it's not even like Click Track, we're on time code because those guys literally have like these pedal changes sometimes every bar of a song.
Wow. You
know, there are multiple 20 to 40 pedal changes in one song. Like they're tap dancing.
Wow.
Like you can't, there's no way to function outside of like standing in front of your thing. And even then, when you hit the button, it doesn't immediately turn on.
Right.
It turns on like 1/100th of a second later.
Yeah.
So you're never hitting the downbeat.
Right.
Which drives me nuts. Like, you know, I'm like crushing into that downbeat because that's where I feel everything crushing the audience.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't exist when you're trying to do what we're doing analog.
Right.
Well, so that was the impetus for us moving there. So now the time code is making all those switches for them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Ken can move around a little bit more, and he's also singing, and Greg is playing like 3 other instruments.
Yeah.
Something was about to break.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happening on stage when especially in these newer albums. So before I run out of time with you, I do want to talk a little bit.
I told you.
I know. No,
I told you.
It's good. We look. What I love is the way our tangents would feed into the next, and we we cycled through your whole life story all over the place.
Let's make this deal.
Okay.
And you got to have this on the end podcast.
Okay.
To be continued.
Okay.
We can do a series of these however you want.
All right.
If you can't book anybody and you got like a dead week,
I mean,
I would love to come down.
Okay.
It wouldn't make me feel bad that you couldn't get someone else.
Okay.
Because there's a lot to finish here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to cover.
Like we're not even getting started.
I know. We
haven't even talked about my like drugs in the valley.
I know. So
that will blow your pumpkin.
So the whole thing you mentioned earlier, the documentary.
Yes.
The documentary.
The documentary.
So
that's where we are.
I want to bring that up because every time you lose your mind. This documentary was coming out. There was a premiere. Now it's on Hulu. It can stream everywhere. And like you mentioned, the material on Failure and you guys was limited.
Yes.
It's like you know about this band and you're cool because you know about Failure. That's the thing. It's like I could immediately.
There's a lot of mystique.
Yeah, there's a lot of mystique, and it's like Sunny Day had a lot of the similar stuff because they were so shy about the press.
Well,
back
in the
day.
90s, if you didn't sell a certain amount of records, people weren't bothering
Yeah.
to hear what you had to say or what you were doing.
And if you weren't like doing every single interview and you were kind of, there was a secrecy, there was this mystique. So it was like I could immediately.
And they want people to buy their magazine.
Right.
You know.
So I would be in anything that I create. Dropping Failure would get like, oh, cool guy points. You know what I mean? Because it's like one of those bands. Like
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
It's not lost on me. Like Failure is still
very
one of my
cool.
favorite bands.
Absolutely.
Like yes, I'm a member, but I also like.
I still think it's a pretty fucking great band.
I'm still extremely passionate about the music because I never in my dumb wildest dreams thought that I would actually wind up in my own like.
One of the coolest bands. Yeah.
Led Zeppelin. Not, don't get me wrong. I'm not comparing us to Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
We're not Led Zeppelin. But my point being is I wound up in a band that is far better a sum of its parts than anything I would have settled for.
Yeah, yeah. So this documentary, that's where I get to meet you guys for the first time, which was so great. And I think that it finally shows the world who you guys are. So before we get out of here, I wanted to say there is failure from the 90s, and then there's everything that's come since 2015 when you guys are back. You know, we basically have it's a 19-year hiatus between the last record and then
give or take.
Yeah, give or take, right?
Yeah.
Give or take. So we have this long pause. You pick back up 3 albums since. I kind of want to know.
Technically 4, 2 live albums.
Yes, because we are hallucinations.
A couple of singles.
Yeah.
Like our output is double what we did in the 90s.
And
we took 3 years off to make a film.
Yes, took 3 years off to make a film, and you have been together now longer than you were together in the 90s. It was a much shorter stint.
Yes.
So obviously older, wiser, not drugs. Well, okay. So are you wiser?
I in my mind, every morning when you wake up, you make a decision.
Yeah.
About how you want your life to unfold that day. Starting with what kind of person am I going to be and approach with whatever happens to me today.
Yeah.
That is all the power you're given. As we go through the day, we react to everything that happens to us in a multitude of different emotional ways. Sometimes those reactions do not lead to wisdom. And sometimes there is wisdom if at the end of the day, you're able to reflect on those things that you did that weren't the greatest and try and make a deal that you won't do that again, or at the very least recognize them. And if you hurt anyone, go back to them and apologize for your reaction.
Sure.
So wisdom, my point being, is wisdom is something that I personally hope to strive for. But it's not something that I live in.
Okay.
It just, most things that are top shelf, I hope by the end of each day that I'm living up to those ideals and those expectations of myself.
Right.
I don't always meet my own expectations.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's fair. So then older, I'll just focus on that. Older. That's all we've got is older.
With hopes of wisdom.
So you've been playing together longer, more output now and so it seems like you guys are good.
I think we're a far better band now too.
And the releases are great.
Yeah,
and everybody
I think
felt
our collective
that way.
experience.
I think everybody felt that way when you jump from Fantastic Planet. You know, you jump forward and everybody hears, "Oh, there's a new album coming by Failure." Of course, everybody's general reaction is like, "Is it going to be any good?" And then everybody's
that was my general reaction.
Everybody's like,
I almost didn't do it.
It's great.
When Ken hit me up and then sent me demos that him and Greg had been working on.
Yeah.
And I listened to it. In all frankness, I had so much going on the inside that for the first time in my life, I couldn't listen to a piece of music and tell you whether it was worth a shit or not.
Yeah.
It canceled out my thinking mind.
Yeah.
That I couldn't just listen to it and go, "Oh yeah, that's good. Oh, that's bad. I like that. I don't like that."
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Literally. And it really kind of fucked with me.
Yeah.
Because that had never happened to me. I pride myself on being able to understand and evaluate and decide the music that I'm listening to.
Sure.
I couldn't do that. It wasn't until we actually got in a room and started recording the first part of The Heart is a Monster.
Yeah.
Which was almost a year preceding the second part of it. It was before we did all the touring and got back together and all that stuff.
Right.
We started with recording 5 songs.
Wow.
And it wasn't until I physically started playing them and hearing them and all of our collective reaction to oh, this doesn't suck.
Yeah.
We're going to do something that is at the very least as good as what we were doing
before
20 years ago.
Yeah. So documentary and Wild Type Droid out. Is there already on the horizon, if you're even allowed to talk about it, is there talks of recording another record or more touring, or is there signs of slowing down at all?
I mean, I think this has been said before. We're constantly working.
Constantly.
Yeah. We, yes, there's a new record.
There's a new record.
Not sure when or how it's going to come out. It's sitting around, clearly the film and getting it released and doing the premiere.
It's a lot of work. And
we did all the premiere ourselves. Hulu didn't help with that.
When I saw you guys, it seemed like the general sentiment was, We'd like to. We just did this.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
We need a minute.
Yeah.
You know.
The record's been done.
Yeah.
The record was done before that premiere.
Okay.
It's just a matter of we have new management, we have a new agent, and they collectively think that we should release this in a different way than we have been releasing our previous records.
Okay.
Which is ourselves on Failure Records, and you can only buy them through our website.
Okay.
Which is fine. I love that. It's the first time, like, I think in all of our lives that penny one comes back to the band.
Yeah,
Like first we get to
absolutely.
pay ourselves off for the money we spent to make those things.
Right.
But then collectively, like we actually make a little bit of money, and then we get to put away our own money to pay for the tours that we're going to do on those records and make videos or
Right.
whatever. Like we're self-funded
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
By no means rich, but it's a great feeling to not have to go to someone else and bargain away 85% of your value
Sure.
for the rest of your life.
Right. Right. So we can look forward to at some point in time another record.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometime between now and probably like early next year.
Okay. Exciting. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see how that comes out.
Yeah.
Well, Kellii, you're right. We just barely scraped the surface of.
There's so much
There's
more.
so much more. So
Dude,
absolutely.
wait till you hear about like what being inside the drug trade in the 80s was really like.
I mean, we could just literally focus
between the
episode on
sunset
that.
and like the valley.
I can't even imagine. Going around Tower Records. Yeah.
Check this out. Little side note,
Yeah, please.
the new Rust in Peace had come out.
Yes. Which is my favorite Megadeth album of all
I'm
time.
in said car that I should have been pulled over
Uh-huh.
by all of the Valley Police, but no one did.
Yeah.
In that car, pull over to Tower Records on Ventura, which I always dreamed of them like painting my face or my record
Yeah,
cover
totally.
on the side of Tower. Like that was the dream when I got here.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm gonna get one of those.
Yeah.
Long hair, like coked up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I go in there into the cassette section and try and steal Rust in Peace. Because I had a cassette player in my car. I had a great system in my car.
Right.
I had a 84 Chevy Monza.
Love
You
it.
probably don't even know what that is. do
No,
you?
I don't.
Yeah, most people don't. I think they only made them for like 2 years.
So
Crazy car.
You tried to steal Rust in Peace.
Got caught. And they put me on like the wall of shame. They like took my Polaroid.
So you did get on
can
the
never
wall, just not the wall you wanted.
No, you can never come back in here again. And ironically, my wife, Priscilla, who had a large hand in making the movie with Ken,
Yes.
would work at Tower Records years later. The one on Ventura. Well, by then it had moved to the mall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I love it.
Yeah.
Well,
I love Tower Records.
Yeah, I loved Tower Records. It was so great.
I warned you. I warned you about my talking.
I loved it. Look, like I'm normally on this show.
Like,
I'm
you
normally-
can't edit this.
I'm normally the guy who leads the conversation, and I got to ask the question. I literally just, it was like wind you up and let you go.
I definitely
Just
make it easy.
Let you go.
I definitely make it
you just
easy.
Let it go. But what's fun is we got to cover a lot of what I love, which is kind of picturing you as a kid and being blown away by certain songs. And then we also got to talk about failure. But I do want to, before we get out of here, I want to tell everybody, if you haven't seen the documentary yet, it's a really good way. It's a good way to get to know you guys.
And
it's a good way to see the story.
Even if you don't resonate and you don't want to get to know us, that's totally fine.
You should get to know.
The
My audience
music is
will.
not for everyone.
Yeah, but my audience will.
But the movie itself it's a really well made
It's
movie.
very well made.
It's a great subject,
Yeah.
and you know I don't. It's not even necessarily a film made about our band. Like in the 90s, there were so many bands of our ilk and stature that were going through the same thing. Like there's nothing unique about necessarily what we went through as a band trying to make it, you know, that got caught up with drugs as a, you know, side hustle and the wheels fell off. Like there are thousands of bands. That's their story.
Yeah.
But I don't even know how we wound up on Hulu. They're not going to wind up on Hulu.
Yeah,
You know, it could be about any band, is my point.
It's that thing about your band that has that everybody loves to say they know about failure. You know what I mean? Like, it's just even when you cut to the Schwartzman.
Well, I think it's also
everybody's like, yeah, I know about failure.
I think it's also there's celebrities in the film.
That's what I mean. It's like,
even if you don't like music, there's tons of celebrities, and they're saying some really funny stuff.
They do. They do.
And they love the band and have great insights.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's why,
that's why
we got as far as we got, I think.
It was Margaret Cho. She helped get you there.
Yes.
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
insightful.
She loves you guys so much.
I had no idea that she got a day pass from rehab to go do her interview.
You're kidding me. I didn't know that.
Go on her page. She did it after the premiere. She did a big shout out about the film.
Yeah.
And she's like on camera. It's like a minute and a half long video where she's like, yeah. And at the time, like, I'm still sober. And when they asked me to interview, I was like, yeah, you're my favorite band. I had to get a day pass from rehab.
I love it.
By the way, my rehab was not giving day passes.
No day passes.
Like they would give you a spoon in the middle of the night and say, you want to leave? Go ahead and dig your grave with this spoon first.
Wow.
And then tell me whether you still want to leave or not.
Yeah.
I was not in Margaret Cho's rehab.
Yeah, but I feel like with you had to be in that kind of place. Because I feel like you're feisty.
You know what?
Feisty.
We will next podcast.
Okay.
We'll talk solely about the tail end of my drug use.
Okay.
So we can like reel them in because it's fucking gnarly.
Yeah,
it wasn't pretty.
Okay.
A lot of homelessness, a lot of stealing.
Oh boy.
It was weird and dark.
I'm gonna have to create a dark version of what.
But with hope.
Yeah. Okay.
There's crazy hope in there. I was mentally ill.
Yeah.
And that hope that something was going to save me.
Yeah.
Anyway, I won't give away the juice, but then I went to rehab and was sufficiently desperate enough that I knew I was either going to do this mumbo jumbo or I was a fucking dead man.
Right.
Like there was no in between.
Sure.
And I'm like 21 years later. I ran recovery homes for 6-7 years. Like there is nothing on earth that I joke about less than like there are 1,000 dead people behind me.
Yeah.
I was gifted sobriety from one day to the next. It could be taken or given away.
Wow.
But that alone is 2-part podcast.
Agreed. Well,
and I'm totally serious. I would drop everything and come here.
I love that we
have a relationship now.
I'm glad we're friends.
You got to know me.
I know.
Like
we're
this wasn't information.
Now you're in. We have each other's numbers, and now I can just like, Kellii, I got to have you on the show.
And it never stops.
I love it.
Like you hang around with me long enough, you'll be like, what? That guy just said that? Like you're not supposed to tell people that.
On this show, you're welcome to.
In polite company.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm so grateful.
My pleasure.
That you were on Waterproof Records, and we will absolutely do it again. So thank you for coming on the show.
And props. Thank you for like screaming from the mountaintops.
Yes.
Like that there's this band out there.
Absolutely.
I
Because
appreciate
I'm
it.
cool because I listen to Failure.
That's for you guys to decide. I think he's cool because now we know each other a little bit better.
Yes.
And I mean, you went out of your way to support us.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
People don't. It's not like people are running to your channel because you mentioned failure. There are far other more lucrative things to.
But I hope
waste your time on.
I hope that they are now paying attention. That's
we'll see.
My number one hope.
We'll see. One at a time.
One at a time. Thanks, Kellii.
Yep. Thank you.
That was the first time a guest on this show has ever given me, a very, very talkative person, run for my money. Now, Kellii Scott, I could have just let him go for 2 or 3 more hours. Once you get him going, first of all, it was a blast to see us go to his childhood, tangent into 12 other stories, then circle back like 30 minutes later. But it was really fun and energized, and I had such a good time just hearing about that journey. And as I was saying goodbye to him before the end of the show, I did realize he has so many incredible stories about being in the music scene, the drug addiction, coming out of it, sobriety, and it probably would make for a really interesting part 2. So at some point in time, I will have to have him come back on the show so we can talk about that as well. But such a cool interview, and it is true. If you're not really well-versed in your failure, you need to go dig in, because if you want to seem cool, I'm telling you right now, you see this documentary, you see all these celebrities, and they're like, oh, anybody knows about failure is cool. So Kellii Scott is not only the main drummer of that band, he wasn't there in the very beginning, but joins right after Magnified. And he's done a lot of projects in the time that Failure were apart. I'm so grateful that he and the guys are back together making music, because honestly, the stuff that they're generating now really is absolutely incredible and on par with Fantastic Planet and Beyond, which is such an incredible record as well. So thank you for joining me this week. Remember, you got to use Drokid to get that link of 30% off your music you're going to upload. And I also give a huge shout out to Pantheon Podcast. Thank you so much, Pantheon Podcast. They are truly the mega network of band and musician focused podcasts out there. So if you're curious, are there other music podcasts about other genres of music styles, rock, metal, hip hop? You definitely got to go to Pantheon Podcast and see just the list of unbelievable shows that they have. And amongst them, me, little old me, Waterproof Records. And I have you to thank for getting me here to this point, because without you, I couldn't do it. So make sure you're going out there and you're commenting and you're saying, this is the greatest podcast in the world, and you're sharing it with your friends and you're giving me all the 5 stars. I need it. I need your validation. So thanks again for joining me. I was so happy to sit down and talk with Kellii Scott. I will see you next time on Waterproof Records. Bye.
Things are gonna change. I can feel it.
If this gonna be that kind of party, I'm gonna